If you've been literally anywhere near a grocery aisle or a quick commerce app recently, you've probably noticed it. We are in the middle of a massive coconut wave. It feels like overnight, everything from sodas to ice creams has been given this tropical makeover. So today, we're peeling back the layers of this whole trend. We're gonna look at the viral hits, the behind-the-scenes retail strategies, and most importantly, we're gonna read the fine print on those tricky ingredient labels. Let's decode the coconut wave. Okay, take a look at this. This is the ITC Be Natural Coconut Cola, and it is arguably the biggest, most bizarre viral hit of the entire season. ITC made a really bold play in the carbonated market here. They've positioned this as a premium, sugar-free diet cola. But get this, instead of just using regular carbonated water, they use a tender coconut water base. It's this wild hybrid of a functional, health-conscious beverage and a traditional fizzy treat. It is literally designed to stop you mid-scroll and make you say, wait, no way, I have to try that. And we really have to dive into this because you just can't talk about a viral trend without looking at the internet culture that fuels it. The second ITC dropped this, the internet instantly linked it to their biggest brand ambassador, Shah Rukh Khan. You know, he famously does those ITC dark fantasy ads. Well, almost overnight, this absolutely hilarious meme song exploded online with the lyrics, mixing lassi and coconut, making a cold drink in SRK style. It's just a perfect example of how modern marketing isn't just about putting a product on a shelf anymore, it's about how fast it can turn into a literal pop culture moment.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by unpacking the viral coconut cola trend, contrast that with Daisy drinks, map out the price and volume matrix, and then dive into a massive ice cream war between Amul and Dinshaw's. Finally, we'll do the actual math on those real ingredients to give you a definitive buyer's guide.
Section 1. The viral coconut cola trend.
So how exactly did a coconut-flavored soda become the absolute talk of the town? Well, the beverage space is ridiculously crowded, right? Especially during the summer. Brands are literally tripping over themselves to capture your cravings. And ITC's strategy here is actually brilliant. By positioning this as a premium, functional, sugar-free diet drink, they aren't just selling you a soda, they're selling an experience. On ultra-fast apps like Blinkit, Zepto, or Instamart, you need something super unique to trigger that spontaneous impulse buy. This drink basically checks every single box for the curious modern consumer.
Section 2. Desi drinks versus the new trend.
Now, before we get completely swept away by all these flashy new trends, we have to talk about the traditional heavyweights. Because despite all the massive hype and the crazy marketing budgets poured into these expensive fusion drinks, Amul Lassi remains arguably India's favorite way to cool down. When people want genuine relief on a hot day, millions still reach for the familiar comfort of a traditional lassi. And why wouldn't they? You get guaranteed thickness, a universally loved taste, and pure, straightforward ingredients. It's a really stark contrast to some of the highly engineered, sometimes synthetic-tasting fusion beverages that are flooding the market right now.
Section 3. The price and volume matrix. All right, let's pivot from the drinks and check out the dessert aisle. What's really interesting here is the completely different pricing strategies. You've got the ITC Coconut Cola at 60 rupees for a small 250 ml can. That's purely a premium, functional buy. Then you look at Amul True, offering a 125 ml single-serve ice cream cup for 40 rupees, or a huge 1-liter family tub for 275. But right next to them, Dinshaw's completely flips the script. They offer a 750 ml tub for just 180 rupees, leaning super heavily into a value-for-money position. This right here is the real battlefield before you even hit order on your app.
Section 4. Ice Cream War. Amul versus Dinshaw's.
The visual contrast between these two tells you exactly what their retail strategy is. Over on the left, Amul is going for that boutique, premium vibe. Their packaging proudly screams real fruit and real ice cream. They really want you to feel like you're buying from a high-end parlor. But on the right, Dinshaw's takes a completely different, way more aggressive approach. Their box is just dominated by the words 50% extra free. They know exactly who they're targeting, the value-conscious consumer. It's a classic showdown of premium positioning versus unbeatable volume.
Section 5. The math of real ingredients.
Okay, marketing times are great and all, but it is time for a little de-influencing. Let's actually read the fine print and see how they're getting that coconut flavor in there. Dinshaw's uses an 18% processed coconut crush. This is a really dense mixture where the starch and sugar are already pre-mixed in. What that means is the coconut flavor dissolves uniformly. Every single bite tastes exactly the same. Amul, though, uses a 17% tender coconut preparation. This is totally different because it's actually designed to carry physical pieces of raw coconut, giving you a more authentic, varied texture in your mouth. But you might be wondering, how does Dinshaw's keep their prices so incredibly low while giving you so much ice cream? Take a close look at this label. Notice how Dinshaw's is officially classified as a medium-fat ice cream. To give you that premium, soft, creamy texture without actually paying for expensive milk fat, they use a very clever food chemistry trick. Modified starch, specifically number 1442. It mimics the luxurious mouthfeel of a high-end ice cream while keeping their production costs practically on the floor. And this brilliantly illustrates the flip side of the coin with Amul. Because Amul uses real dairy milk solids and a preparation with raw coconut pieces, their ice cream is incredibly vulnerable to temperature changes in grocery store freezers. To make sure the ice cream actually survives the trip from the factory to your spoon, look at this laundry list of stabilizers they have to use: 440, 407, 466, 415, and 412, plus emulsifier 471. And on top of all that, to give it a strong aromatic punch, they still have to add artificial coconut cream flavor. It literally takes a massive amount of science to make real ingredients behave in a commercial freezer.
So here is where it gets crazy. If you are buying Amul True purely for the real fruit experience, let's do the actual math together. The label proudly says it has a 17% tender coconut preparation, right? Well, inside that 17% preparation, only 35% of it is actual raw coconut pieces. So when you multiply that out for the entire tub, the physical raw coconut chunks you are actually eating amount to just 5.95% of the total product. Talk about a reality check on how we perceive packaging claims, right? Section 6, what's right for you? All right, we have thrown a ton of data, marketing psychology, and food chemistry at you today. So let's turn this into some real practical takeaways. Here is your definitive buyer's guide. If you just want a quick on-the-go premium treat, grab the Amul True Cup for 40 rupees. If you're hosting a nice family dinner and you want that varied texture with tiny real coconut pieces, get the Amul True 1-liter tub for 275. Now, if you've got a bunch of guests coming over, you're on a budget, and you just need volume that still tastes great, Dinshaw's 750 ml pack for 180 rupees is a no-brainer. And finally, if you just want to experience the pop culture moment and see what the fuss is about, definitely order a can of the Itc Coconut Cola for 60 bucks. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. The next time you're scrolling through an app and you see the next big viral food trend, whether it's coconut, mango, or something totally out of left field, just ask yourself, are you truly paying for the real ingredient? Or are you just paying for exceptionally clever food chemistry and brilliant marketing? Keep your eyes open, always read the fine print, and never stop learning. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today.